You've got a redshirt freshman walk-on tackle going against the best pass rusher in the Big Ten. Can you talk about that matchup a little bit?
Well, that is, as we watch them, that is a major factor for everybody that plays them. I think that, you're looking at the reasons for balance being very, very important in this game. We're not going to, it's going to be hard to live with 54 passes again. Because if they know that's what you're doing continually, then that just helps the pass rushers in the game. So that will be a major factor, and then how we protect and how we help are also major factors.
Coach, in regards to the running game, a lot of your yardage running was outside, a lot of fly sweep and tosses on the wing. How do you step up so it's more between the tackles? What do you guys have to do so you get yardage that way?
Well, that's the nature of what we have to do as far as balance. I think that our attack has to be both inside and outside to be at its best. So, that is obviously an emphasis coming up.
Also, maybe you didn't want to necessarily start with Stanford, but because they're somewhat similar on the line, offense and defense, as Penn State is, they're very strong. How much does that help you, whereas you guys are not like Coastal Carolina, so going into this game, it really doesn't help Penn State?
Well, I think that, I think that the first game always helps. I think some young guys played at center and right tackle in particular, and you would hope that that experience, they've got a game under their belt, their approach to the next game. Now the talent's going to pick up for them, and so they've got to, they're going to have to take it up to the next level, but that's what we expect to be able to try to do every week. And I also think that again, that goes back to, the comparison between what we do and what Coastal Carolina does is vastly different. So, we think more about our approach, about who we are and what we need to do. We use those games for information. And I don't know about how they, I can't tell you how they feel about that.
Also wanted to ask, in regards to the linebacking core, it looked like some of the big runs that Gerhardt got came against the second trio. Will we see the same sort of rotation going on with that linebacking core, because they seem to get caught a little bit?
We need to play guys, and we need to expect them to do their job if they're going to go in, and that will be a part of that overall deal about getting better. And the ability to play comes with the ability to go in and perform, and they don't happen automatically. But I think that's a good group of guys, and I think that they will get better, and I think we can rely on them playing.
Mike, with that, the two guys you mentioned in particular, Linenkohl and Remmers, and those guys in particular, after looking at the game, how did they grade out? How did they hold, even though the running game wasn't what you wanted it to be, how did they perform?
Well, that part of that was, kind of the nature of, our slow start. I think that, and then we got into obviously a different kind of game. We played the game that we were in, so the running part of it, I thought, in general, and I think Lyle has a lot to do with this, but in general, 54 passes and we gave up 2 sacks is a pretty good night. And, those could have been avoidable too, and one of them came right up the middle, so Mike Remmers wasn't involved in that at all, and so I think that they held up pretty well. And I also think that Lyle got rid of the football, made quick decisions, and they always fit together. I mean, sacks are, they're always pinned on the offensive line, but it can be a number of reasons, from the tight ends to the running backs to the quarterback. So in general, that part of the game was pretty good.
Mike, with the tough loss to Stanford, is it going to be a little more difficult to kind of put that in the rearview mirror and focus on Penn State with the guys, or have they kind of been gearing up and just ready to get back on track here?
Well, that's what we've always said, is it's really important to live in the moment. That game was over one way or the other, win or lose, and what you have to take from it and how you approach the next week has to be fresh and exciting, and you have to put yourself into that. And that is the nature of football in general. But for us, going in with the schedule that we had, we knew that. We knew that every week had to be its own Super Bowl. And So that's how we approach it.
Some mental mistakes too late in the game with the turnovers and, of course, the last play there. Is that more of just a first game thing and one of those things that just can be ironed out as things go on?
Well, you learn, hopefully, valuable lessons, you know, and that is, there were some things there that will be forever etched in our memories as far as taking care of the football. Ball security is absolutely essential in our game, and we had, you know, a nice drive and got a tip ball turnover, and then we had a situation where, you know, there was no need to try to stretch for a touchdown. Everybody in the world knows that at this point now, and we had 47 seconds and a timeout left, you know, and we're on the 1 yard line. So I think that at best right now, the best way to look at it is that is a really valuable lesson and a very hard one to learn from, but it is there, right? We've got our own example now. I mean, we've seen examples of that from other teams, but we've got our own story to tell.